Good morning, all students and watchers. So today I'll be discussing about the direct stiffness method. For this, a brief procedure has been written over here. I request all of you to go through this procedure first. In case of a stiffness method, there are two types actually. So one is transformation method or a displacement method. The second one is direct stiffness method. So both are like procedure is 80% same for both the methods except K formula. So finding the DOF, that is degree of freedom by members, everything will remain same. Here the change we are going to observe is K formula. Okay, this is an example for the B. Vi, Vj, theta I, theta j is given here. So V is a notation given for shear force and theta is a notation given for a rotation or a moment. Okay, for the clockwise movement, this is the formula. For anti-clockwise also I have written one more formula, but I insist you people always assume clockwise and keep this formula as keep it in your mind. You have to by head this formula. So next one, finding FEM and PEQJL, everything will remain same here. Once you find out the stiffness matrix for the individual spans, you have to merge that. That is what I have written here. By superimposing individual element stiffness matrix, you are going to get the structural stiffness matrix. Okay, so that structural stiffness matrix is denoted by K delta. Once you got this superimposing, I'll tell you while solving the problem. Once you got K delta, find out force matrix. How to find force matrix? The same formula I'll be using here, P EQJL plus P external. So if you want P EQJL, you need to draw EQJL diagram. For that, we have to find fixed end moments and shear forces, right? And one more note is that in this direct stiffness method, only moments are not enough. Always remember, along with the moment, you have to find shear forces also. That is what I have written. So I'll be discussing third problem today. Okay, this is like cantilever beam. There are two supports given near joint B and C. People can see here. So joint A is a fixed one. Joint B and C, roller support is given. So 1, 1. Find out degree of freedom then. How much degree of freedom you are going to get? 2, right? Because fixed end there is no freedom is not allowed. So here 0. It's a continuous beam. We are not going to take horizontal force. Leave that. Vertically it is stiff. So what is the left thing? Left thing is rotation, right? So since it is a B, joint B, I have given like theta B. For this one, it is theta C. So based on the degree of freedom, the number of unknowns will be fixed. So number of unknowns, we are writing in terms of displacement matrix. So theta B and theta C. How many unknowns now? There are two unknowns in this problem. Okay. So second step is finding stiffness method. For finding stiffness method, clockwise rotation I have assumed here. Okay, one example I will write. Span AB it is, right? So span AB in this will be VA. This is VB. For this one again, one more rotation will be there. Theta A, theta B. Okay, same formula. This formula you have to keep it in your mind. So EI by 10Q. 10 is for length. That is one formula, no? EI by LQ. So for the span AB, there is 2 EI. So I have substituted 2 EI by length is 10. 6L it is. 12 it is okay. Minus 6L. So that means 6 into 10. So minus 60 we got here. So like that you do the calculations. So now observe the order. How to writing the order is a very important thing here. So EI by L cube, this calculation you people can do. There is no confusion, I think. So once you got this 2 by 10 cube, some value you are going to get. So that value you just multiply inside for all the elements. Done. So writing this order is very important. If people are watching, no, here, this one, B, A, theta, A, this order. See, always write shear force first and then rotation. So VA, I'm writing first joint VA followed by the rotation theta A. Okay, VB followed by the rotation theta B. Whatever the order you have written in a horizontal direction, the same order you have to maintain in a vertical direction also. So order is kept. Move on to second span. Okay, so KBC is my second span. For that, EI is different. Observe the problem carefully. 3.6 EI is given. So span for the BC is 12. Multiply this inside. So you're going to get all these values. Same order I have kept. Now I'll tell you how to do the merging. So your K delta will be, it is based on how many unknowns you are having. So how many unknowns we are having? 2 unknowns, right? You just write a box 2 cross 2, then theta B, theta C. The same order you have to write in vertical direction also. So we will write now, observe this, theta B, theta B. So now go back to your stiffness matrix and observe it. So theta B, where it is? Okay. See, theta B is here and theta B. 1 I got. That means this value, right? 1.199. It's in the order. Here also, theta B versus theta B. So how much we got? 1.199 plus 0.88. Just because there are two values are there, I have to add those two. Got it? 1.8 plus 1.199. Next one, theta C versus theta B is there. Again, go back to stiffness matrix. Observe the matrix. Where is same order you have to follow. Theta C versus theta B. Horizontal line. First, you see theta C. It is here, no? Just look at the marking. So theta C is here, which is one more theta B. That means which value? 0.559. Okay, 0.559 is written. Like that, orders you have to observe. If you have rotations in both the span, you have to add it. If it is there in only one span, you can take only one. Okay, here we are not taking theta A value. Even though rotation is there, still I'm not taking. The reason behind that is because joint A is a fixed one. Even if you take theta A, there is no rotation at theta A, right? Sorry, joint A. Because we are not allowing any freedom. That means even if you calculate, theta A will be 0. So I'm not going to take any value there. So your next step will be finding fixed end moment and shear forces. So this procedure, I hope you people know this, but still I'll tell you there are two forces given. One is UDL, another one is a point load is given. So it's like you have to take both the formulas. So first one is for point load plus this is for UDL. Okay, for both of them, we have a different formula, right? So this side, how much it is there? 4 meter, and this side it is 6 meter is there. So for UDL, the formula is WL square by 12. This we already know. You just substitute the value for the first span. MFAB, I have done the calculation. You just substitute the value and calculate the value. Since point load and UDL both are available, there are two formulas written. Based on the direction, this negative and positive sign is given. Okay, this is for point load and this is for UDL. Done. Do this calculation. Just find out these fixed end moments. Once you find out the fixed end moment, always remember in direct stiffness method, shear forces need to be found. You cannot skip shear forces. Okay. Uh, don't think that fixed end moments are enough. I no need of finding these values. Always you have to find reactions. Here, how many reactions you are going to get. And remember one more thing. Whatever calculations you are doing, you have to do it separately for individual spans. Like for span AB, find out the reaction. And for span BC, find out the reaction. So summation H and summation M condition you apply, you are going to get RA and RB here. Again, for the span BC, in the same way you apply the condition, you will be getting RB and RC. Okay, just please go through this calculation. Clearly, I have written nowhere confusion is not there, I think. Just go through the calculation. So from all these values, the same fixed end moment and shear force values I'll be taking, but I'm going to reverse the directions. It's clear, no? For EQJL, what we have to do, the same fixed end moment and the shear forces we have to consider and reverse the direction. So this is EQJL diagram. And this one more diagram I have written, this is for external load diagram. Go back to your problem. Some moments are given already in the question. Can you see here this 50 and 60? These will be P external. Externally, some moments are given. So consider that moment also here. So while calculating PS, we have a formula P EQJL plus P external. EQJL means what? Based on DS, we have to write. PEQJL means don't write everything like 194 minus 146, 132. It's not like that. PS means be careful. The first value is for theta P and second value is for theta C. Okay, you have to go that particular position. Here you are going getting theta B, right? So here we have theta B and here we are having theta C. Correct? No? So check out now. How much it is? Minus 146 anti-clockwise plus 132. How much you are getting? Minus 14 equals minus 14. That's what I have written here. So it's correct now. Which is the next position? Next position is joint C. So theta C is here. Near joint C, there is 132 is given, but it's in a running anti-clockwise. So negative value is written. Plus, in the same way, check out any external moments are given near joint B and joint C. It is there, no, 50 and 60. So 50 is running in clockwise, so plus 50. This one anti-clockwise, so minus 60. Add those two, you'll get PS. Next, displacement matrix formula, we already know. K delta is, we got it by merging the stiffness matrix. So that is that value you have to substitute here. PS we got as it is. So DS means theta B, theta C. They are unknowns, right? So calculate theta B and theta C. Directly you're going to get. So what is the next one? So next one will be final forces. For final forces, again you have a formula over here, but observe carefully. For calculation of the final forces, what you have to do is you have to calculate for the individual spans. It's not like a whole continuous beam I will take and I will do the calculation. It is not like that. Individual span you have to consider. That's why I have written like this. This is a general formula. Pij means I is one joint and J is another joint. Okay. Here, which are the joints AB? No. So here you have to replace PAB is equals to K delta of AB. Like that. Ij is just a general notation given here. So for span AB, same order you have to follow. Why I'm following same order? BA after MA. You just look at the order given in the stiffness matrix. Theta A is nothing but rotation. Moment is also rotation only, no? It will turn the whole body. So either you can call theta A or MA. Okay. First, I have given BA here. So that is the reason in doing the calculations in final forces also, BA should be first. See, order you can reverse. You can give theta A first and then BA. But if you give like that, that order you have to follow here also. Getting no the concept. So since I'm following BA first, then theta A, this order has been given here. Next, which is the span? This one, AB span. No, under AB span, how many rotations are there? One is theta A, another one is theta B. There are two rotations available. So how many rotations will be there? That much you write. Or else you keep it like as simple as it is. If AB is there, you write theta A and theta B. If BC is there, what you will write? Theta B, theta C. Simple. So next, writing this value. This value also you have to extract from step 2. Getting? So now we will check now. So which is the first value? VA versus theta A I want. You're under span AB. That means which one you have to see? You have to see KAB. Keep KAB with you. One more, one matrix is there, no? There. VA, theta A, VB, theta B. Like this one matrix is there in step 2. So what they are telling? VA versus theta A they are telling. So here VA is there. So what you have to see? This one you have to see. This position. Getting now? So VA versus theta A. First column, second row will be your answer. Just check the answer. In the same way, VA versus theta B. VA versus theta B means first column, fourth row. MA, what I told you, either you can give a notation MA or else theta A. So that means theta A I can consider. Theta A is here, right? In the second one. So which value you have to consider now? Theta A versus theta A. That means this one. Next, theta A versus theta B. Last one. That means your second row and fourth row will come like this. Okay. Just check this one. I will tell you MB versus theta A now. You'll see that. MB versus theta B, theta A and B, no? Okay. Sorry. So KAB, span AB calculations I'm doing. What I told? MB versus theta B. So this theta B is nothing but MB here. Okay. So MB versus theta A and theta B. MB versus theta A is 0.4 and MB versus theta B is 0.8. Okay. So same value, we'll check now. Is it there? 0.4 and 0.8. So like that, you have to substitute the values over here. Got it? So next, what you have to write here in this ds place, that is also very important. See, you are doing the calculation for span AB, and you have taken theta A and theta B because near span AB there are only two rotations are there. So here also this will be theta A and theta B. Okay, I hope you people got this one. Theta A versus theta B, you have to write. Okay, finding PEQJL is the next question. For this, again, you have to go back to your EQJL diagram. So, see what is the value of VA, MA, VB, and MB separately. So, based on clockwise, anti-clockwise, or moving upwards, downwards, the signs are written here, negative and positive. So, once I will check VA and MA now. Check the value. So span AB calculation we are doing. VA is vertical force, right? So, but it's going in a downward direction. So I have written minus 95 here. And MA 194 clockwise. So right, plus 194. Got it? No, if the shear force is going in a downward direction, right, negative, clockwise, anti-clockwise, you write positive and negative. So for span AB, you just check out do the calculation separately. In the same manner, for span BC, do the calculations. So we are under span BC now. Observe carefully. You will be getting theta B and theta C here. Theta B and theta C you will be getting. So this is this will be theta B and this will be theta C. This is DS matrix, right? Displacement matrix. So VB, MB, VC, MC. Corresponding values, you just see EQJL diagram and substitute here. So how to identify whether whatever the answers you got is right or wrong? See, observe the problem carefully. Near the joint C, there is one external moment is given, 60 kilonewton meter, right? So this is MC. Joint C it is. Moment value at joint C. Minus 60, you got it back. That means whatever answer you have calculated, it's correct. In the same way, you just check also. And 158. If you add these two, you're getting plus 50, then you are right. Because external moment near joint B, we should get plus 50. So based on that, I can tell whatever the answers I got, it's right. See, MD and ME, I have given a question mark here, but please do the calculation. Separately, you have to find this. Why? Because in other problems, directly you can substitute some formulas. But here it is not the same condition. Here one UDL and one point load is there. For that, shear force values are there. Which shear force you will be considering? Not 95 and 65. These are the not. These values you should not consider. For that, VA, VB, these are your answers. Okay, VA, VB, VC, those answers you have to consider here. For drawing SFD also, directly you can do the calculations. So please find out the moment near D and E and just complete this bending moment diagram. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Regarding, be careful about the external movements. If external movements are given, then it is easy to identify whether whatever the answers you are getting is right or wrong. In some cases, external movements will not be given, but see, I'll show you second problem. Problems like this also you can identify your answers. How you are going to identify? See this overhanging portion, just convert that into one moment. Okay, when you find out the answer near joint D or else MB answer, it should be minus 66. and MD answer you should get plus 60. So that like that also you can identify your answer here. Getting no? Okay, please go through the second and third problem because all the procedure is same in direct stiffness method and it is very simple. But you have to be very careful when you are doing this superimposing. If you are writing K delta itself is a wrong, then your whole problem is going to fall down. So be careful. Try second problem here. Theta, here the number of unknowns will be 3 because DOF we are going to get 3. Theta B, theta C and theta D. Okay. So consider individual spans. See, always when you get overhang portions, convert that overhang portion into one moment so that half of the problem burden will get reduced. So that is what I have done here. So two spans you are having BC and CD. So theta B, theta C and theta C, theta D you will be getting. Merge these two and find out KB. Okay. Just go through the calculations. Still if you are getting any doubt, we'll discuss in class.